Dear student, good morning to all of you. Today I am going to tell you about the literature and its responsibility towards society and humanity. During this today's lecture, we will understand the importance of literature and how is this responsible for society to create different positive and commendable changes towards humanity as whole. So my today's topic is literature and its responsibility in influential the humanity. See, immense and great literature is simply language charged with meaning to the highest promising degree to provide a fruitful and knowledge oriented light to the people of society. The history of literature dates back to the dawn of human civilization and cooperation towards each other in social system. The societies were found by the human beings with objectives of fulfilling the human needs and aspirations and harmony for each other. Setting aside which came first, the literature of society, the aim of the author is to represent the picture of literature in society and vice versa. For understanding, both have remained inseparable from each other, for literature cannot sustain without society, and likewise, the society too cannot be unnoticed in literary pieces in one way or another because both are supplementary to each other. In this, talk, it is about the importance of literature and how it influences the minds of people in leading a good life. Literature. The lecture or the speaker sincerely believes is a paramount importance for the development of modern society. Literature possesses the capability to transport the reader's mind into a completely different universe full of love, peace, sorrow, happiness, social positive relationship, positivity of society, and conflict. It is therefore no surprise that for enthusiastic readers, literature is an escape route from the harsh realities of life. The beauty of literature is that it is the reflection of a human self, containing within its realism the entire spectrum of sentiments and emotions that we feel or associate ourselves with. Literature presents a relative picture of society to update people about social trends and tradition, customs, behavior, and positive understanding towards each other. Literature has been a form of enlightenment since hundreds of years, providing readers with an opportunity to take a break from the pain, sorrow, ennui, and toil of daily life. The current tech survey world has thrown us at an extensive array of entertainment avenues, but it still has failed to dislodge reading as the primary source of recreation. See, the key words of this talk, are society, social construction, beauty of literature, social positivity, cooperation, a feeling of relationship between each other. Dear student, literature is a group of artistic words that presents reality of society to update its readers about social activities and morals. Most are written, but some are passed by word of mouth. It usually means works of poetry and prose that is very well written. The word literature comes from the Latin word which literally means learning, literature, and grammar. Even imaginative or creative literature is considered to be a good literature. It provides an imaginative and practical position of social system and its way to lead social people to manage positive relations with each other. Before the increase of literature, oral literature did not always survive well through some texts and fragments have persisted. Many texts handed over by oral tradition over several centuries before they were fixed in written form and are difficult or impossible to date. August Nietzsche sees some fairy tales as literary survivals dating back to Ice Age and Stone Age narrators. The earliest literary author is a Sumerian priestess known by the name of Anhedona, dates back to 2400 BC. Certain literary texts, such as the Egyptians Book of Dead and Superior's Code of Orkazin, are very old. These old literature texts have been very helpful in knowing the language, culture, and system the people had those days. These texts are foundations of language and literature that we are having today. According to Ezra Pound, literature does not exist in a vacuum. Writers such as have a definite social function exactly proportional to their ability as writers. This is their main use. This is also duty of literature to update its reader about culture, traditions, human relations, social positivity to manage a positive, constructive society. See significance of the literature in social system. Dear student, here I am telling you what is really the significance of literature. At the point when we read literature, we find normal human methods of getting life and a proper way for social harmony and constructive relationship. We find comparative messages, bits of knowledge and exercise. We read about family related encounters. We likewise find comparative slip ups. At the point when we read literature, we likewise find critical constructs. This permits us to investigate another's message or life, even those isolated from us by time and social boundaries. To pursue literature is an exercise in perspective. It is also a kind of fixed map to lead positivity in society. We frequently figure out how unique others are in condition and way to deal with life. Just an experience and different construct in what people accept. Literature is overflowing with human reactions and responses in sonnet, expositions, journals, stories, and in the characters of accounts. As we react to and break down these, we can increase a more remarkable information on the human mind. Literature also presents human psychology to write its creative view to make a positive and human friendly society. According to Jhumpa Lahiri about literature, from the beginning of literature, poets and writers have based their narratives on crossing borders, on wandering, on exile, on encounter beyond the familiar. The stranger is an archetype in epic poetry, in novels. The tension between alienation and assimilation has always been a basic theme. Simultaneously, we increase a more note but the information on ourselves and our own reaction, since we should increasingly construct our lives with those in literature. As we look into different creators' perspectives as well as our own perspective and those of others, we extend our feelings of human responses and our own self reaction to understand the literary concept. We have the chance to getting further increasingly mindful individuals. At the point when we do this, we have the open door for finding pride in our local and culture, for picking up regard for another, and for learning quiet side as we communicate across societies. We also try to know their moral values and a positive perspective for social development and improvement. However, being more profound and progressively mindful requires certain ethics, specifically a feeling of regard and quietude. Great exchange requires confidence, expectation, and love. Confidence that correspondence can really happen between individuals, trust and something may happen to our endeavors, and love for our kinder people in the entirety of their assorted variety, unpredictability, and assortment. We don't generally concur with what we read. We occur to a limited extent. We read literature to text a reality of a message against our perspective and try to understand its importance in life. Literature cannot in itself make us a superior individual, yet it can help us in that mission to make a perfect roadmap for human happiness. According to Samuel Lover about literature, when once the itch of literature comes over a man, nothing can cure it but the stretching of a pen. But if you have not a pen, I suppose you must stretch any way you can. This is the definition, according to Samuel Lover, and really the literature is that which reflect on the reality of life towards the duty and perfection in society as a social system. Astronauts can be characterized as aptitude in living by looking at artistic literatures, their accounts and their messages. We can increment in our understanding of how to live in society to make ourselves supportive for all. We figure out how to perceive what is solid and damaging on the planet, and we are tested with shamefulness and its results. Literature may even provoke us to ask what we will never really and the issues its pictures. It may also ask for reality to present in society and philosophy to regularize with positivity. Literature offers us the magnificence of words and stories, and all things considered mirrors the gestures of God present in language, accounts, and the stuff of creation. Literature can engage us. Leland Ricky writes, when constitutes a worthwhile use of leisure time, there is no one right answer, but literature has much to commend it as a leisure activity in a day of middle-less leisure pursuits. Literature stands out by engaging our mind. It enriches our life by making us aware of the world of human experience and human fears and longing. We can upgrade the quality of our leisure time by learning to value what is excellent rather than medicare. Student, again we are coming on the same point, literature and society. See, what occurs in a general public is reflected in artistic work of literature in some structure. The strict and practical significance of literature is the speciality of composed work in various structure, for example verse, play, stories, composition, fiction, and so forth, to present the creative ideas of the author. It might likewise compromise of literature depend on data just as creative mind. A general public is a gathering of individuals identified with one another through their constant and continuous relations. Literature combines the social theme for better and creative works in society. It is likewise a gathering of compatible individuals to a great extent represented by their own standards and quality. Human culture, it is vast. It is described by the example of connection between people who offer societies, convention, conviction, and qualities, and so forth. In the present, that one glance at the historical background of society, one will find that the idea of various social order has experienced changes from the Paleolithic time frame to the current period of information technology. The people's living style, religions, convictions, societies, and so on have never remained constantly studied. They have an attitude to realize the concept of humanity and positive social relationship among people of different ideas and mentality in social system. With the progression of time, attributable to changes occurring in condition and with the rise of new advancement, we see that the social orders have not stayed obstinate concerning their standards and qualities, the impression of which can be found in various types of literature. There are many creative examples of our literature that represents the positivity in society, like Kalidas, an incredible artist at any point convinced in Indian history, is first scared of the dubious demeanor of the individuals, yet then argue his own place of perspectives that give us association of the old and the new to reflect the goodness of people and a kind of creativity. In Malavikamitam, it his first play, the writer shows his quietude and becomes dubious whether individuals would acknowledge his play. Consequently, in the start of the play, he argues about the theme and relationship. Each old sonnet isn't acceptable to the ground that it is old, nor is each new sonnet to be accused, since it is new, stable. Pandits, after basic measurement, pick either the bar must have his judgment guided by the information on his neighbors. In different words, everything old isn't waffle, nor is everything new waffle. In literature, there is a positive war between good and bad, positive and negative. There might be something which may not be very useful in the old and the new way, likewise be acceptable. That what extraordinary men and shared individuals state and follow become great during record breaking in regard of literature too. We notice that it is surprisingly experienced changes with respect to its topic and style. The subject of literature have been changing as they sphere various circles of life and society. So has been the situation with the case with the language of literature too. Language is one of the apparatus or mechanism of communicating thoughts and considerations. Both the oral and composed structures various social orders have utilized as are as yet utilizing various dialects for the satisfaction of people and societies. Yearning at same point, it is seen that numerous changes are marked against literature just as society. A scholarly composing is restricted on the ground that a contrary area of society discovers it reflecting conventions and standard against that society. The instinct of Salman Rushdie's The Satanic Verse and Taslima Nasrim's Laza gives declaration to such charges. The canvas of Mukwal Fida Hussain were restricted and consumed by an area Indian Hindu society with the change of discoloring their strict dedication in the realm of film industry both the India and abroad. Numerous movies have been restricted. There has been fights and showing against the movies for wrongly introducing the subject and utilizing undesired language which seems antagonistic to the sentiments of the segment of society. Literature is really the reflection of society. See, in this topic I am going to tell you the literature and how literature is the reflection of the mirror of society and what kind of work about society is done by the literature in itself. See, literature has majorly affected the improvement of society. It has molded civilization, changed political framework and uncovered full play. Literature gives us an itemized review of human encounters, permitting us to associate an fundamental degrees of want and feeling. In any case, similarly as it has world social order, the composition and works of specific creators creators have corrupted social orders to their most crude structure. The UAE is just 36 years of age in a nation that is as yet experiencing quick turn of even the potential effect of literature is obvious. An informed youth which grasps the eventual fate of the country has the ability to impact change. The foundation of every state is the education of its youth, said Kevin Navin, professor of English at the American University in Dubai. The youth should be educated in the great idea of not only its own culture and time, but other cultures and times as well. As we are movies making us more away from literature is a question. See, numerous understudies ascribe the absence of enthusiasm for literature to an absence of persistence. Most said that out of their friend work, half of them get a book. It is a bustling world and it's getting much busier with the time, said Mr. Raj, establishment understudy at Middlesex University. We scarcely possess angry for ourselves. How might have we have the opportunity to plunk down the pursuits in light of this absence of time and anxiety? Understood, look to different types of information and correspondence sometime that will rapidly furnish them with the idea they need. While a book may take a month to complete, a film could pass on a similar message in only 2 hours. In any case, what understudies don't see is that these convenient solutions may not be furnishing them with the full and precise message on the literature's primary characteristics is that it is not entirely dear. Caesar said non nothing less. Caesar said that the first rays of new innovation would not prompt the disposal of literature. Individuals wouldn't quite pursuing since they are watching films both fulfilling the requirements for an account. The two rather cover. For instance, pursuing a novel and afterward watching the film may help comprehend the understanding better. Finally, literature has the ability to sparkle a light on the general public's convictions and practices. It powers pursuers to pose inquiries, start discussion, and search for answers regardless of whether one genuine answer doesn't exist. The topics, characters, and exercise in literature are one that would be all be able to be construct with the individual and occasions persuader find in reality. In that sense, literature is an impression of society. Therefore, apparently, society acts like backup for culture and conviction of the individual it reflects upon, and that occupants of a gathering of society share certain likeliness as to suspicious convictions, standing belief, fastened religion, and so forth. Literature, when joined culture and different features, both conceptual and cement of society, not just presents vague subjects like estrangement, digressions, and changes in the public arena, yet in addition mirror the substantial issues, for example, chronological, political, social, religious, psychological, and all realities are fully presented by literature. As we also know that literature is a theme, literature is a mirror, literature is that which presents reality about time, situation, place, and position. It also motivates to society to make things positive for present as well as for the future generation, so that we could be appreciated by our generation after reading a positive literature in scenario as whole. Dear student, I think after listening this today's audio lecture, you will be able to understand how literature is important and what is its importance in society and how it plays a positive and good role in society as whole. Thank you very much.